to the whole notes. I used to think it was about learning to play the guitar. Now I realize it's not quite like that. It's more about learning how to not play the guitar so much. Also, I'm still a guitar picker, you know? I might sit for long hours running the lessons, you know? Playing and then not playing, you know. I had a little success with this one video I made. It's called, it's like a modal guitar lesson or something like that. You know, I had 500 or 600 views and a few people telling me that they appreciated it. That's nice. I'm glad when I can, you know, provide something of value. And that's kind of what I'm about with this labor and the expression of worth. Labor and the expression of worth, aligning our labor or our work with what we know to have the greatest value, the greatest worth. That was an Elizabeth Cotton tune called Freight Train. Freight train, move so fast. When we strengthen one another, we also strengthen every group to which that individual is connected. And when we align ourselves with our greatest value, when we align ourselves together, well, greater works get done. Sometimes there is a realignment that we've got to do for ourselves as we pass through different developmental stages. As a musician or a life partner, however that works out for you, you know. We practice our scales and our arpeggios. Chord positions. Learning voicings, wanting to be a reliable player in all 12 keys up and down the neck. play in E flat, the same thing that I can play in D or G. We practice forms, songs, becoming aware of harmony. Becoming a student of those who have gone before us. Steal a kiss from little shady grove, she's sweeter than brandy wine. There's no girl in this whole world who's prettier than mine. Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, I say. Shady Grove, my little love, I'm bound to go away. When I was a little boy, I wanted a Barlow night. Now I want little Shady Grove to say she'll be my wife. When I was 7 years old, I was down at the railroad track with a BB gun. I wish I had a big fine horse and the corn to feed him on. Shady Grove, she'd stay at home, feed him while I'm gone. But then, at some point, the BB gun didn't mean so much to me, and I wanted a bigger life. Something else, you know. And that's when I found the guitar. Ah! That's when Joe Bob Nelson taught me the 12-bar blues. He said, this is what you do right here. You do that 4 times. Then you move to the next set of strings there and you do it twice. And then you move back to that first set of strings and you do it twice. And here's a B7 chord, son. Here's an A7 chord. Yes. And then there's always another 12 bars coming up. You want to take a ride? That means you want a solo. My friends said, solo! At some point they didn't ask me. They needed a bass player, somebody who could do this. Footprints. Let's see. Another 12-bar blues. And they'd point at me and they said, play, play, play. And I said, oh, I can't play. And I went, I just kept going, and I went, I don't know what I did, but whenever I did something, my friends, they said, good job. And they encouraged me just to take another 12. Go ahead, take another 12 and stay oriented in the form and to take that 12-bar solo. So that's one thing that music taught me. And, working with form and then working with others around that form, collaborations around pre-existing forms. And then if you study form for, well, I don't know, a moment, however long that moment is, you might start coming up with your own forms. Oh, wow, we study form, we study other forms. We read books, right? We study religions that other people have shown us, but really we are to come to this place where we're writing our own gospels, I believe. We might start composing over a form. Like the first song that I ever wrote was a 12-bar blues. Well, wrong is the day that I would take you in my arms. Wrong is the day that I would do that much harm to the pride of a man who thought you'd hung the moon. That harvest night in Kansas, it didn't mean that much to you. You told me that you loved me, that I was the only one. Looks like to me I was number 2 on a 4-night fella run. But things can change, right, darling? I know country girls can too, yeah, yeah, yeah. She was supposed to be on the other foot, girl. You're playing games that make me blue. Hip-tight jeans on a country girl, how could a plowboy resist? Hot red lips on a Jayhawk night, just looking for a kiss. I may be wrong, yeah. I might give you one more chance. I'd be wrong, but I'd be alright, girl, if I had you once again. Well, I think you got your heart crossed. Fix it, everything'll be alright. I'm the one that holds the cards, and you just hold me tight. Well, don't you know I ain't supposed to wear this on my sleeve? That harvest night in Kansas didn't mean that much to me. Hip-tight jeans on a country girl, how could a plowboy resist? A hot red lips on a Jayhawk night, just looking for a kiss. I may be wrong, but I might just give you one more chance. Hey, well, I'll be wrong, but I'll be alright, girl, if I had you once again. I'd be wrong, but I'd be all right if I had you once again. That kind of became the story of my life, like with women, I guess. I'd be wrong, but I'd be all right. And so I just kept picking guitar. Because I still love my blues scales and my pentatonics, my both major and minor. I also love me some fearful symmetry. William Blake, Tiger, Tiger, Burning Bright. I was taught a symmetrical scale. Half whole, half whole, half whole, half whole. Half whole, half whole, half whole, half whole, half, half. It's the scale that Jamie Aebersold instructs us to play over the 5 chord. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. We study form. I was talking about form. I discovered in my pursuit to understand musical form and different genres, what I discovered is that we create these little religions around the things that we're good at. Identities. If you look at my channel, Travelin Trav, that's my persona, right? Travelin Trav's trans-rational blues. Trav, this particular manifestation of consciousness that I call me. Both wave and particle. Photosynthesizing. I see the light in you, my brothers and sisters, right? Rhetoric. We read, we write, we listen, we compose. We are inspired by those who have gone before us. Thelonious Monk. We apply ourselves to the learning, to the studying of those who have gone before us, like the ancestors. When I met Gonsi, a healer in Argentina, he gave me some flutes, and I said, "Do you have any special instructions with the flutes?" And he said, "Just give thanks for your ancestors before you play." And that's become a consistent part of my practice, is acknowledging those who've gone before. That is the conservative nature of our being, that which wants to conserve the wisdom of the past, whatever is good that we've discovered. The liberating nature is also found in music and everywhere else that we go. If you look at Picasso, right? He studied the fundamentals, and then he broke free from form eventually. Look at John Coltrane, A Love Supreme. We acknowledge, we resolve to continue acknowledging, and in that resolution we find this great pursuit of the divine, and we find ourselves singing psalms. John Coltrane, he was a student of the form, he was a player in other people's bands, and then he began with giant steps. Giant steps, my friend, one love holds us to the end. Newton's crawl, quantum sprawl, see it all through the wall, dig it, giant steps, my friend. Tommy Flanagan, the piano player, he showed up to that recording gig. You know, John Coltrane had been practicing his changes for quite some time. and Mr. Flanagan had to play a solo over these new changes at a very high speed, a large tempo. Before Coltrane, there was Charlie Parker. Yes, we go as far as we can in the forms that we inherit, and we conserve everything that can be taken forward, and we're also liberated from form. And this is what we were looking at when we saw John Coltrane and Elvin Jones and McCoy Tyner and Jimmy Garrison on Love Supreme. You know, it was like this. Well, exactly what it was. It was this acknowledgement of the divine, this resolve, this resolution, and this pursuance, this chase after the divine. And as musicians, we embody that pursuit, hopefully, in our music. The pursuit is embodied in us. We discover devotion and self-respect in the musical experience, and then we share that experience with the world. Some people stay with their science, hoping to find self-reliance. Some people open the scriptures, just hoping to find ways of coping with all these crazy primate constructions, when finding deductions lacking in primary truth. What can we know, and how do we know it? What can we know, and how do we come to know? How do we come to know? Someone said, we each have to work out our own salvation with great fear and trembling. Human experience varies. Why not just eat these strawberries? Tigers above us, tigers below. What can we ever really know? I see you, my friend, as we move toward the end. I'm aware of my own ego. What can we know and how do we know it? How do we come to know it, you know? What can we know and how do we come to know? Yeah. They used to tell me I was building a dream, and so I followed the mob. When there were fields to plow or guns to bear, I was always right there on the job. They used to tell me I was building a dream with peace and glory ahead. So why am I still standing in line, just waiting for bread? Once I built a railroad, made it run, made it race against time. Once I built a railroad, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime? Once I built a tower to the sun, brick and rivet and lime. Once I built a tower, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime? Once in khaki suits, gee, we looked swell, full of that Yankee Doodly-dum. 500,000 boots went slogging through hell. I was the kid with the drum. Say, don't you remember? They called me Al. It was Al all the time. Say, don't you remember? I'm your pal. Brother, can you spare a dime? Yeah, some of us, we've been hurting. You ain't seen what I saw. You know, J.R.R. Tolkien, he was in those infamous trenches in World War I. Brother came back, had to compose an elven language. You know what I'm saying? In some fashion, our song, our practice, may become a hiding place, a secret place. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High, he shall live under the shadow of the Almighty One. Travelin Travs. Transrational Blues. Travelin Trav, that's me. Yeah. The next 12 bars. Yes, we study form. Giving thanks for our ancestors. Yeah. All the great teachers who went before. Their form and our form, we come to understand as part of that one great love, that great divine expression that is showing itself in the arrangements of our frequencies. The one teacher, the true teacher, celebrates the rising of his student above himself. The one teacher, the true teacher, is the teacher that teaches that you, my friend, are that great teacher. We participate as deeply as we can in those forms that we're predisposed to. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we may discover how we create our own personal religion, and oftentimes a sense of self-righteousness around the forms at which we excel, judging all others or all other musicians by our level of achievement or by the worthiness of our particular music that we play, including those that we feel are safe for us to be around and excluding those who we feel have not lived up to our standards. But if we look at the greatest musicians of our times, we see that they are transcending genre, right? We're learning. Well, he comes in all different ways. I share my joy freely with you. this one from Duke Ellington and Coleman Hawkins on a collaborative album they did. They called it Limbo Jazz, I believe. All those who have gone before us, the conservative nature. We're learning, we're studying the forms of the past, and hopefully we begin. That's what improvisation is in one sense, is we can take a form that we didn't write, and we can start embodying that form in a new composition every time we go through, and that's what we're practicing towards. What possibly the jazz musician and the blues musician first showed us, right? We look at Robert Johnson with his 29 tunes. Was it 27 or 20? Anyway, he died at 27 and there's 29 tunes. We look at him improvising, right, within this form. This, like within a loose 12-bar kind of thing that he was doing, he would extend, because he's by himself, so he doesn't have to be when you get with other people, you just have to say, okay, it's 12 bars and then we're going to repeat here, or else nobody knows what to do. And that's what we do when we come with people. We have artistic forms, particular styles, particular religions, particular ways of describing things, and that helps us to gather together in groups and practice. Pentatonics. Pulse and pentatonics. 1, 2, 3, 4. Phrasing simply one sentence, then another sentence. Beginning to sing your major pentatonic, right? See how I've got my fingers assigned to frets here. My second finger is on the 3rd fret there. My 4th finger is on the 5th fret. And then I 1st and 4th here. So if I say 2, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4, then you get the finger positions there. That's why we like to play in G, because it's got an open major pentatonic. And guess what? If we go down to this, that same pentatonic scale sounds different, doesn't it? That's E Dorian. A minor scale with a raised 6th. Which is just about the coolest note possible. Over an E, maybe. Maybe that's why they call it cool minor. Somebody called it cool minor, right? I heard that song one night as I was in my police car. I was 28 years old, trying to be of service to my community. And after all of the training all of my devotion to that practice of being a watchman for the people is how I saw it. I realized that I was not called to relate to my fellow human being through that uniform, right? That the problems that created for me were not the ones that I was called particularly to deal with. I could not be the hand of what I perceived to be an unjust justice system. You ever been there? In a place where you could no longer do what the job required? My friends knew even before I went, to police training that I didn't appear to be the type of person that might be for that job, but I knew that I had something to learn there. And I felt strongly that I was answering a calling on my life. And so now that time in my life is known as a 1-year-long study in the justice system. I was part of the enforcement branch of government. I also attended the federal government's, re-education program in the form of Army basic training. There's no crying in the Army. I found that out. We can laugh about it now. But I did. I made it through. While I was there, I saw some of the soldiers, and they would just say something like, "Well, fuck off, drill sergeant," and they would give them their pajamas, and they got to stand there, in their own, whatever humility that we get to bring upon one another in those moments. I guess they got to endure that. I did not want to endure that. I didn't want them to put me in my pajamas, and force me to stand there. And so I said, okay. Before I went to basic training, I remember one day I was getting myself in good physical shape. I was running. It was an April day, April 19th, is that the day? Anyway, I heard a loud explosion. And it was the federal building in Oklahoma City. So it was during that time that I went to Army basic training right there in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. I'm definitely not a soldier's soldier. But I am a warrior. I've discovered that because the things that a centralized power system asks of an individual, well, I can tell you one thing. I did take an oath to a constitution several times, which I didn't really think much of at the time, but now I certainly am a great respecter of free speech as an artist. Frank Zappa, back in, was it the 90s when Frank Zappa was going to bat for free speech in a big way? That dude was incredibly intelligent. Yeah. But if you mention free speech these days, somebody might say, "Oh, I know who he is." You ever had somebody say that to you? "Oh, as soon as you said that, I knew exactly who you were." Did you? Well, my life experience tells me that I don't know exactly who people are. That there can be lots of different nuances present in all the folks. And we are each having these curious lived experiences, right? And it it is incredibly important that we are able to describe these lived experiences. I never want to force the language of my lived experience on anyone. Oh dear God, help us all. There's no freedom, there's no liberty in forcing your lived experience or the language thereof on someone else. We live in a day where pluralism is burning itself out. And we are coming once again to an understanding that there is a center. And there's nowhere we can go to escape that center. That absolute, that origin, that singularity perhaps. Holy Spirit, won't you rise up now? Holy Spirit, won't you rise? Won't you rise, yeah. Holy Spirit, won't you rise rise up now. Holy One, Holy Spirit, won't you rise up now? Won't you rise? Won't you rise? Yeah. O ye who labor, all who are heavy laden, come to me. I will give you rest. Holy Spirit, won't you rise up now? Holy One, Holy Spirit, won't you rise up now? Won't you rise? Hey, hey. Dear grace, I see the sun shine through. Grace, I'm coming home to you. Grace, darling, dear, I hoped I would find you here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hoped I would find you. Yeah. Oh, I hoped I would find you. I made a commitment to my audience long ago to love you as you come and go. It's a lesson in non-attachment, a lesson we all need, and mine just happened to come through the practice of the performing arts. Because some of us just needed a little bit more attention than we was ever given. Come on. Oh, we needed to be touched so deep by a whole lot of love. So maybe we'll learn to play the guitar and sing or something. And we said, oh, oh, I love it when you listen, my brothers and sisters. And then maybe we discover that the true treasure is deeper than the applause. we may rightfully turn our attention to the music. And we may come to a place where we can talk into a camera even when no one's watching in your live stream, and still have a chance at connecting with something authentic. And that is love for self and love for audience simultaneously. So, a relationship with the camera can certainly cause you to deal with your narcissism, if you want to call it that. I mean, we've got so many diagnoses for everything. Oh my God, if you want to get into the name calling, well, we do name call. We classify, we organize. We're trying to understand how come we're all so fucked up. So we invented a bunch of diagnoses to, well, it's kind of like the army trying to get rid of PTSD. Well, you could stop killing people. That's the number one way we can kind of get rid of PTSD, right? But no, we want to do studies and try to figure out how to eliminate, how can we overcome this PTSD thing in our soldiers? Well, when we sign away our will to a centralized governmental system and say, yes, I'll kill whoever you ask me to kill whenever you want me to kill them, then it's just something we should take note of, right? Your recruiter should make that clear. And this is not like some kind of us versus them criticism against the military. I have worn the uniforms. I'm just saying that we should educate ourselves on these things before we sign that line. And then there is this thing called the Constitution, which has some amazing ideas, right? Like the freedom of speech, freedom to assemble, the right to bear arms, right? Oh my God, come on, we've got to. I mean, these things are all incredibly important, as far as us being our own, where sovereignty is concerned, and that's a big, long human story, and I'm not going to try to give you a meme right now but if you know what I'm talking about, then you know there's wisdom in holding back, because some of us might quickly start talking like we know what needs to happen. That's why I'm speaking in really general terms, like conservatives and liberals. We all must, the conservative and the liberal must be made manifest in each of us. We must conserve the wisdom of the past. And I've been giving that teaching in the form of music right now. I've been looking at forms. I've been talking about forms. So we conserve the wisdom of the past, the forms that can still serve us. We improvise in them, we play in them, we use them, and then we must be liberated from the bullshit, right? All of the forms that are not helpful to us, that cannot be helpful to us. We're the conservative and the liberal. We are not one or the other. That is ridiculous. But we have to play, we have to understand, we have to kind of discover who we are. I used to think I was a guitar player. I used to think I was a singer-songwriter. I used to think I was Trav. I used to think I was my thoughts. I thought I was my emotions. And I didn't really have any guiding figures in my life to help me to understand that I wasn't. Even in the American church, even though Jesus is the one who is calling us to this ego dissolution and this realization of oneness with God. Emmanuel, God is with us. You are not separate from God. I am, and so are you. Even though we say he is our master in the American Christian church, I mean, we do not teach non-attachment as a general rule. We might say that the message that was written down because of the life of Jesus, Yeshua, that it was appropriated immediately by empire. And this is not a criticism, not of Catholicism. necessarily accept everything in what we call Catholicism that we did need to be liberated from. But now there's still like this empire Christianity, right? A brand of Christianity that serves empire. Take me by the hand and lead me to places where I would not go on my own. If I am to become who I got to be, I must go where I don't want to go. For when I was a young man, I went where I pleased. Now that I'm older, my children take me by the hand, lead me places where I would not go on my own. Ooh, 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 ooh. Everybody goes through these times. Everybody hears the voice of fear sometimes. Don't you let it take a hold of you. You just keep running right on through. If you have chosen to love someone deep, you also felt the burden of the promises to keep. Don't let the fear surround you. You just keep moving, keep running, keep pushing on, right on through. And then the Buddhists say, don't just do something. Sit there. There is nothing to accomplish, no one to become, nothing to be. And we do also get this message, of the diminishment of self. Less of me, more of the one life, yes? Because what we come to understand is that the story of me, the individual story, is the story of suffering. That somehow, if I try to save my life, that I lose it. And that when I surrender my life to that one loving being, that somehow I am free. And that's what all the spirit talk is about. That's what it basically boils down to. And it can be said in many different ways. And this is what forgiveness is about. It's about realizing that whoever out there seems to be punishing me, that I don't have to be a prisoner to those people who would put me in chains. And the only way that that can happen is a deep work in here. And we saw that work in the life of the one we call Jesus, who refused to surrender to the darkness. When the love that he made with his people was so great that church and state both decided we have to put him down. when his flesh was torn and he was mocked and ridiculed, his clothing gambled for a spear in his side, hoisted up. Well, somehow this is the rite of passage for us all. What will happen? How will we work with it when we are misunderstood, when love is not welcome, when we are not welcome? It may feel like in a moment like we have been forsaken by everyone, everything, even the one that we call Father. And we may cry out, Father, why have you forsaken me? It can even go that far. It can get that serious. It can appear it may appear that the enemy has won. But then we remember that even if we are imprisoned, mocked, ridiculed, crucified, that we are called to always remember. And in that remembrance is our new life, is our rebirth. And this is what some people call the good news. May the Lord bless you and keep you, cause his face to shine upon you, be gracious to you and give you peace. May he bless you and keep you, cause his face to shine upon you, be gracious to you and give you peace.